Hello and welcome. I am the Suit&Tie, Dip&ChewGuy, and this is an entry onto the Alternatives playlist. I would say it is the 23rd review, but I'm not sure because there's only 22 showing, but there's a video that no one's allowed to see. And when I say no one, I mean, according to YouTube, I'm not even allowed to see it. So it's the 23rd, but it might be the 24th review of this series. I don't know. I literally don't know. Anyway, we will be taking a look at something I've been looking forward to checking out, and that is Outlaw's Georgia Peach. This is one flavor-wise I am very interested in. Now, when I started to do Outlaw products this past month again, I started with the wintergreen and the mint. Because in their own way, they were. I was interested in them too to see how they compared to wintergreen regular dip and mint regular dip. And also, they were new products. More, that was my understanding, and that's what people wanted to see. But from a personal standpoint, this is the one I wanted to check out. So this is his Georgia Peach. Now, his previous tobacco line, this is obviously non-tobacco, his previous tobacco line did not have a peach. That said, Tough Guy did have a peach, and I really liked it. Unfortunately, there is no Tough Guy line at all anymore. Ace Moist Snuff, which was the makers of Tough Guy and Outlaw's tobacco dip, are now the makers of the Outlaw non-tobacco line. That is, the non-tobacco Outlaw dips are the only products they are making now. Okay? So, taking a look at the can, you got a raised rim, thin, in sort of a Grizzly Kodiak American Stuff Company fashion. And you have his emblem in the middle. Also, the border of it raised. The white is actually the same level as the rest of the can. That black outline of his emblem is actually raised. It's good effect. As I've said repeatedly through these reviews, I think the emblem's a little silly, but in a way, though, although what I deem as a silly emblem, brand image, at least they did it well. They did it really well, actually. So it's hard for me to get. You can sort of see what I'm talking about there. Everything else is flat to the can. All right. The background there is, of course, peaches. Going to the side banding, you have the fact that this does contain nicotine and thus has a warning label. You have Outlaw branding. The fact that this one is Georgia Peach. The label on this is fairly straight. It's a little bit off, but it's fairly straight. But the label is covering over. Now, I can probably peel it back, but I don't really know if anybody's that interested. If you peel the barcode back a little bit, it gives the very short manufacturer's information, which is Ace Moist Snuff Incorporated of Deer Park, New York. The website is www.outlawdip.com. This is 100% tobacco-free, but underage sale is prohibited because it does contain nicotine. On the back of these, there is nothing. It's sort of a generic, sort of a Pinkerton-esque can, to tell you the truth. All right. The lid is metal. The color is odd. They do some fading on these colors, but unlike, let's say, a Skull product, which goes dark and fades out light, or vice versa, this one is dark, light, dark, then light, and then dark back up the top. So it's like dark, light, dark. All right? It is a peach color. A peach as in almost what would be like a flesh color. Although I sort of feel weird saying that, but that's sort of the idea. It's the same on the sides, only it gets even darker. So you have dark at the warning label, but it just fades out. The warning label is not a black box with the warning. The warning label is sort of part of the color fading really dark, and then it goes light, and then it goes lighter, lightest, and then back going dark again. It's a good presentation. Overall, it's a good presentation. I can't smell anything through this, but I was thinking about it before I started recording. That's fine, because the one I could smell before I even opened it was the Lucky Lipper, and you can go back and see how that review worked out. So I'm going to cut open this. Now, they do have the change in banding here. It is papery. It does give, you're probably not going to be able to hear on this computer, but maybe. I don't know. I'll see. I never find out until like after the fact. It does give a papery cut sound, which I'm thinking has been done on purpose. So it is open. That is the cut you're looking at. You know, it's not the greatest cut, but it's pretty darn close to the way Tough Guy was. So, I mean, that smells good. That smells... Wow. Okay, so it smells like a pretty natural peach smell. I'm a little surprised. I was waiting for something very candy-ish-esque. It's pretty darn natural in smell. That's what you're looking at in the can, and that is pretty much dead on. It's dead on. My computer always sort of changes very slightly when I get updates, Microsoft updates, and I have had a couple in the last 3 or 4 months actually, that would seem to have the camera operating a little bit differently. Now, I don't know if the volume has gotten any better. Probably not. But it would seem that colors are more when right up to the camera. A lot of the stuff I've been reviewing lately, I've been going, yep, that's pretty much dead on. And that wasn't always the case back a year or two ago. So I'm going to, you know what, let me keep that light on there. So, you got, it's sort of a chunky, it's not overly wet. It's pretty soft to touch with the fingers. This one is leaving a residue, but the residue can't really be seen. My hands are pretty marked up from the Stokers, but it's definitely leaving a residue because I can smell it too. The cut... Now, Tough Guy was, as I have gone over before, and if you have an old can, you can check the tax class. Tough Guy was fine cut chew. Why? Because the tax class was C, not M, which is dip. So, it had a very odd cut, and they were like, oh, well, it's like a really, really fat cut. It really holds together well in the mouth. I never found that. You know... The stuff was all over the place with me. I'm not saying I didn't like the products. When the can stayed good and didn't go sour and everything was right with the can and the product inside the can, I really liked some of their products. I thought they were really onto something. So, that all said, it didn't have a good cut, though, because it wasn't stranded dip tobacco. It was fine cut chew. This is not a good cut. But all of that said, and as I was alluding to a little while ago, although it is not a good cut when compared to my Stokers, obviously, but to Skoal, to Copenhagen, and whatnot, it is pretty dead on to what Tough Guy and Outlaw's tobacco products were like. So, if you're using that as the standard with this, and you didn't have a problem or you didn't mind the cut of Tough Guy or Outlaw, then if that's what they were shooting for with this, they pretty much got it dead on. And they should be given credit for that. So no, it is not a dip stranded dipping tobacco, but if it is trying to mimic Moist Snuff Incorporated's previous products, they pretty much nailed it. So I'm going to throw this in now that we're at the 10-minute mark and I don't have anything in my mouth yet. That didn't sound right. Okay. So I always back this stuff. I'm going to hit the pause button. I'm getting contact nicotine in the front here. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it on my tongue. I just hope... I don't mind the mouth sensation, but I hope it doesn't go, like, through the roof. Tell you what, though, it's a really, really good flavor. Move around the side. It's a really, really good flavor. It's a really, really good peach flavor. Now, obviously, if you do not like peach, then don't go and buy the peach alternative dip. But if you do like peach, like most normal people, but if you do like peach, this is a really good one. It's natural. It's not like a peach Jolly Rancher or something. I don't think Jolly Rancher even comes in peach, but I will look into that now. It's like a natural peach. It doesn't have... It's more peach than the Skull peach, and it doesn't have the dark fire tobacco backing. Let me hit the pause button and I'll be back, because I'm not going to be able to use my one hand here. Hold on. And I'm back. Okay. It's not spitting too dark, but with flavor like this, I'm willing to let a few things slide, actually. Okay, so it's got as much flavor and flavor as prominent as something that would be candy-flavored peach. It's that much flavor, but it's more natural. It tastes like a ripe peach. It does. I mean, there's nothing telling me that they're even trying to go for some sort of like tobacco background flavor here. It tastes like a peach. It's not spitting as dark as some of the other ones, which his products, I've noticed the last few that I've done, are pretty good on that. Like other alternative companies say that that's what they're shooting for, and they don't really come very close. The wintergreen and the mint, both of them, after a little while, they're a little sketchy at the beginning, but after a little while, those things were spitting. The what you were getting rid of was looking like you had tobacco, or as close as I've seen it in alternative. Man, I'm heaping a lot of praise on this guy as of late. It's making me uncomfortable. I'm like, oh man, I'm going back on everything I said previously. Just like him. Okay. Anyway, okay, so in the mouth, there's a mouthfeel going on. There's a contact nicotine going on. I even have it on the side. And this is my prominent side that I've been dipping on all day. Right, well, this is my prominent side, period. But today, I've been on the prominent side. And I'm still getting a... It's not a burn by any means. But I feel it. Now, overall, I'm not feeling jumpy, though. So I'm hoping, and I didn't feel jumpy on the last one, and actually now that I think about it, the wintergreen wasn't too bad and the mint wasn't bad. So I'm hoping maybe they adjusted down a little bit. Because if they adjusted down a little bit and, you know, wasn't absolutely crazy like that Lucky Lipper, the root beer wasn't too bad either, but there was a lot in the root beer. then this is a all-round good product. And to tell you the truth, I did not end up finishing that sweet tea. I got tired of it, like, real quick. Although I did use it a couple more times after the review. This I'm going to use, pretty sure. And when I order the last two in the next week or so, there's two more. There's blueberry, which I'm very interested in just because how the hell do you do that? And then there's the infamous yellow, which I'm not overly interested in, but we'll do it anyway. I may order another one of these for my own personal use because the flavor is that good. I think. Now, I am a fan of peaches, so keep that in mind. I am not a fan of Outlaw, though, so considering that I'm possibly going to give more money to a company that will send some of it onto him, that's something to be said that I'm saying I might buy another because the flavor is really, really good. Nicotine's definitely there. It's just not... When I did that Lucky Lipper, it wasn't even during the video so much. I had to get... After that video, besides the absolute insanity of over-flavoring it, I had to get it out of my mouth afterwards because I started feeling like my heart was racing. All right? So maybe I got a bad can. I don't know. Double dose or something. The nicotine's definitely here, but I'm not feeling like, at any point there may be like a cardiac arrest issue or anything like that. Now, for new people that are like, man, these flavors sound really good, and in my state, $5.99 for a can isn't bad, but the nicotine, you just do less. I mean, this is real. Look, if you have no nicotine tolerance whatsoever, yeah, you're at first probably going to at least buzz off a can of Skull Cherry, which is as low as you can go and actually have dip. Only thing lower than that in a round can is Hawken, and it's chew. It's fine cut chew. Again, check the tax class. But with something in the mouth, you have, say, it's not like, something you're smoking. Okay? Smoke acts in a different way, and basically you know how bad it's going to get. But you can't alter, you can stop, you can put it out early, extinguish it early, put the pipe down early, but that's about as much say as you have. With something like this, or any dip, chew too, just put less in your mouth. That's, it might feel a little weird if you're used to something larger, but if you're new, you're not really used to anything, so it shouldn't really matter. This is the best tasting, I'm going to say, the peach is the best tasting alternative there is. That end of story right there. It is the best tasting alternative there is. Hands down. And you know what? It may be the best tasting, as far as putting some in your mouth, product with nicotine in it, which is a much larger field. All right? If you don't like peach, then no, you're probably not going to like it. So don't be like, Suit&Tie said this was awesome, but it's peach. Right under the skull. See that? Right after Georgia. That's how you know not to buy it if you don't like peach. It's even color-coded. So it's a good showing. In the mouth, there is a mouthfeel. Slight, not like a wintergreen burner or a mint, cooling. But there is nicotine there. I don't feel like doing anything else. At the same time, I don't feel like I'm going to take a heart attack, which is always a plus. It's sort of holding together. It's exactly the same as Tough Guy. I put it down back the side, and then it wants to come up over the lower molars. And I'm putting it down. Getting it out, there are floaters. It's impossible. Nothing different from the old Outlaw tobacco or the old tobacco tough guy products. Same thing, which is why I'm pretty sure they nailed it with what they were shooting for cut-wise. That's me. You know, is it so bad that, like, is it so bad in the mouth trying to keep together, like, let's say, a snuff or a fine cut? No, not even comparable. It's not like that. And the pieces of it individually are large enough that when you do get a floater, you can almost find it with your tongue and put it back. You know where it is. Like, so I don't know. This is the last three have all been good. They've all been good. I always say I'll give credit where credit's due. And really, at the end of the day, it's not like Outlaw is sitting in Deer Park, New York, mixing this stuff himself. They're using his name. But as far as a alternative goes, personally, I don't find a need for alternatives. I'm not worried. But this is an alternative I may do again, outside review video material, just because the taste is that good. And really, that's the final. It's got nicotine. It's got enough of it. Packaging is presentation is good. Flavor is excellent. It's almost seriously, it's almost refreshing. Like it's almost like peach juice. I'm being serious. There's not that much byproduct, but that's what we're bordering on here. So, spit's a lot, even though the spit is not as dark as some of the other products. The wintergreen, I think, was probably the best. But if you are in the market for an alternative, or you are in the market for a dessert dip, and you don't care if it's not actually tobacco, this is like the dessert dip of dessert dips. Like, as far as a peach flavor goes, and listen, I like Timberwolf and I like Skoal. In fact, I had Skoal earlier today. As far as peach goes, this is above and beyond. So this has been my review of Outlaw's Georgia Peach. I think it's excellent. I almost hate saying that, but I'm like waxing poetic over Outlaw here. It's freaking ridiculous. Like, Clown World has broken out. But still, it really is. I would not say it if it wasn't deserving. So, Georgia Peach in a standard 1.2 net weight ounce can. It is non-tobacco, but does have nicotine. I am the Suit&Tie Dip&ChewGuy. I do hope you all are well. Do take care of yourselves. And as always, God bless.